the International Criminal Court has just issued warrants for arrest for Netanyahu, for Yoav Galant, the former defense minister, but also for Mohammed Deif. So they are being fair. They are not just persecuting Jews. They are going for the death terrorists also. So we have that too. Basically, what has happened? This warrant has been pretty much in public mind for about half a year when we first heard about that the chief prosecutor Karim Khan wanted to issue arrest warrants for arrest. It goes back to around May. And now they finally put it through. The three judges voted unanimously to pursue alleged crimes against humanity. And many other things. I mean, we could go through every single thing, but I think the most important point is this is not objective law. This has nothing to do with it. It's a clear just going after Israel for anything. Not even they can find, but they can make up. I mean, this is coming just one day after there was another vote in the United Nations Security Council against Israel, again calling for a ceasefire, not mentioning hostages because you don't have to. You just have to go against Israel. So we'll also be talking about this on the reality show, where I think we'll talk about it a bit more broadly, also talking about the international reaction, talking about the specific cases itself. But today, joining me is Alex. Welcome to the Daily Objective. We're going to discuss just some basic issues. So, Alex, were you surprised when you heard this happened?
No, I was not surprised because I think this has been something that's been on the table for a number of years, in terms of, after, well, that's why Israel did not sign the Rome Statute. Is originally, actually, it was Ehud Barak, in his infinite wisdom. He's such a smart guy with a big brain. He wanted Israel to originally sign on the Rome Statute back when the criminal court was being founded, and it was the Americans under Bill Clinton who said, "No, don't sign this thing. This is going to turn out to actually just be a political body." And indeed, it has been. And I think that one of the main problems, and first of all, I just want to say, Amit Segal, who is probably like one of the most famous journalists in Israel, said that he was told by people who worked at the ICC in The Hague that they have the backing of the United States, when in the political backing of the United States in going ahead and issuing these arrest warrants. And by political backing, I kind of mean that they're not going to sanction the judges, because they've been trying to go after Western. I mean, that's why they exist, is to go after Western, is to go after democracies for, breaking the rules of whatever the heck, and, having red t-shirts and whatever. I mean, you can just make up anything, right? Because it's international law. It's just politics, right? Um, and here we are, right? And also Chuck Schumer could have signed into law, could have actually not signed into law. He's the person who's been blocking the bill that Tom Cotton has been advancing through well, it went through the House, and now it's just getting passed on. He actually could have been the person to move it forward and wasn't. So you can see that this has been a political tool that's been used by, I would say, the Biden administration since April. It kind of all started with, yeah, don't go into Rafah, and if you do, then we'll arms embargo you, and also we will not give you these diplomatic protections, etc., etc. And I also think that what I would say that the Biden administration wants to do before they leave office is they certainly don't want the Republicans to get a nice photo opportunity with Saudi Arabia signing a peace deal with Israel, right? They don't want to get that opportunity. And I think also it goes against their strategic concept. So they want to make it in a position where it's politically impossible for that actually to occur. We can, whether or not it's a good idea for Israel to engage in a peace agreement with Saudi Arabia. It certainly would have put a significant stop to the broader Arab-Israeli war, right? Because of who the Saudis have an enormous amount of religious goodwill, right, with the citizens of the Middle East, the Sunni citizens of the Middle East. So that's really what I think has been going on, and I feel like I wonder why they didn't issue it for Herzi Halevi, who is they were originally going to issue it to him as well. And I think that he, because he maybe was not going against the Americans in the same way as Netanyahu and Gallant, and I think that probably is an open secret. Like kind of, I would say, warning other chiefs of staff, right? If you disobey us, then you will face the same political future as Netanyahu and Gallant, who are no longer going to be able to travel to Europe. But I have strong feelings about what should be the next course of action, because this isn't the end, right? This isn't the end of the story.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting way to look at it. I mean, if Biden did it just so because we know it's at least people like Lindsey Graham are going into the Middle East, basically arguing for basically normalization with Saudi Arabia. I think if once Trump gets into office, he'll most likely pursue it further. I mean, he has been very proud of his Abraham Accords, so he might want something similar. So and we've seen Biden doing a lot of action, like trying to really use the last few weeks, few months he has to set up some things that are sort of going against Republicans. And so far, many ways have actually been pretty good. He basically said Ukraine go to with the long-range missiles into Russia. Great thing. Should have been allowed like 2 years ago. They've allowed anti-personnel mines to be used in Ukraine. Great thing. Should have been allowed 2 years ago. We really shouldn't have had to wait for Trump. And now this, if the only thing that comes out of it is that there is no normalization with Saudi Arabia, again, I'm happy. But again, using United States doing that against its supposed ally Israel, that it sort of wings go through with these cases. That's a terrible thing. And we've heard, I think Biden officially has denounced this move, and we've already heard from I think the Republican you mentioned, Majority Leader John Thune, that he wants to pursue sanctions against ICC. Someone earlier mentioned that just quickly, someone earlier mentioned if Trump is going to pull out from the ICC. USA is not the signatory already, because I think I'm not sure what was the original reason, but I think ICC, if I remember, wanted to go after George W. Bush, so there were big problems there already.
No. I thought this was okay. Well, I was under the impression that they never wanted to.
They pulled out in 2002, so that's when George Bush.
Okay,
and I
okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also just my favorite thing, that's when they passed the Hague Invasion Act, basically already putting through the legislation that president has basically can invade a country that complies with the ICC, which also applies to the allies of the United States. So
Mhm.
while it would be kind of weird to have a NATO nation invading another NATO nation, it's something good to have.
Yeah, well, it's also interesting because this uniquely harms NATO, right? It doesn't harm NATO because Israel is a member, is a non-allied member status or whatever it is, right? The who
The
and
non-member major ally or something.
non-member major ally, exactly. So now you actually can't be you have all kinds of problems that are going to be arising out of that. And that I really think that this has been a major problem that's been going on really since 2014 because Palestine is a non-existent entity that is prosecuting or trying to prosecute a Bibi for crimes that didn't happen. Um, in a place that has no jurisdiction over, right? And so this actually has been a series of things that have been put into effect by this quasi state, Palestine, right? And Turkey is going ahead and giving it big claps today, but maybe Turkey's harming some people or peoples that could later become a state or later declare statehood or later just not even just go straight to the ICC. Um, and the Kurds is what I'm saying, right? But
Well,
it's all manner of.
luckily Turkey is not a signatory either, so they don't have to worry about that either.
Well, yeah, but then
Oh, right.
Kurdistan could then sign. That's the whole point, right? It's that, they obviously don't have jurisdiction. And the thing is that Israel is a big, I'm sorry, like to say this, but it was the legal people, the legal fraternity, or if you want to call them the juristocracy, the Israeli juristocracy, has been pretending that this is a legal problem, whereas it's actually a political problem. And that they've been doing this for years, right? Because they think that because they're lawyers, so or they're lawyers and judges, so they somehow think, oh well, we can just argue this in court. It's like no, because here you have an obvious thing that is very very clear, and they are saying as well that these whatever war crimes were being committed at least from October 8th, right? So like when they were still fighting back the savages that invaded them. And also, yeah, so they've been pretending that this is a legal problem. And I don't want to hear people coming back with legal solutions. We have to, I think now you've kind of strengthened, I would say, Bibi, because Bibi doesn't care. If Bibi doesn't, Bibi on a personal level, if he never goes to London again, he won't care, right? But all of these institutions that have come about after the fall of the Soviet Union um, have not come about, but they've kind of every two-bit country has they were supposed to be there to kind of be a debate society, right, between the Soviet Union and the United States, right? They were supposed to be a place where they could get together and kind of have like debates, right? That's what the United Nations is. That's what and the International Criminal Court, I suppose, is like their investigatory kind of way for them to investigate America's side of things, right? So the ICC will come here and will investigate the United States as they have been, trying to do in Afghanistan, and the ICJ will kind of, they'll come about and investigate. I don't know, people for racism or dirty looks or whatever it is that they want to do. And I think that all of these systems have profoundly failed. They're ineffective. They're just political organizations. They don't do, I think that even them being in The Hague is a big problem. They need to be in Africa, right? Because that's where they belong. That's where kangaroo courts belong, or North Korea, something like that. They would be much more suited to being there. Maybe also, as well, I would say that the UN also has to go. I would say maybe not North Korea. I don't want to punish anybody needlessly, but certainly somewhere like the Congo, right? Somewhere like that, where they could maybe even do some good.
Yeah, I mean, the always the biggest problem about the United Nations is the fact that because it's trying to be well, inclusive. Everybody can go in. So if you know if Taliban takes over Afghanistan, well, we will invite them
Sure.
to the COP what was it, COP 29 or something that was recently the environmental conference, because that's what it is. It's a place for every dictator who takes over the nation.
Yeah.
He gets a seat, and they are on the same exact basically in the same exact place as America, as any other Western nation, and they have the same rights. They have the same or same rights as in voting rights, or the same basically the same approach to them. And I mean, you mentioned it earlier how ICC has been only used to basically prosecute Western leaders. It's because you know when you are a dictatorship, when you are a anti-Western nations, you don't care. You commit war crimes, who cares? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you have no conception of rights, you have no conception of what's good. But Israel, America, Western nations do. They do have systems in their own countries to watch out for it. Israel has
Yeah.
systems already in place to, if something, because they do not want that. They do not want to just have someone go completely rogue. They do not want someone to completely abuse individual rights. They are already, and that's why they I think very naively, and I think they are realizing very
Mm-hmm.
naively went to the ICJ because,
Yeah.
well, we know we are not committing genocide. Well, if we go to a court that's supposed to be objective, we can prove that we are not committing genocide. Yet
Mm-hmm.
that's the problem. Once the courts become non-objective, as in with all these international organizations that again have to include every dictatorship, every barbaric nation that takes power, then yeah, there is no way to prove your innocence in those type of situations.
Yeah. And I think as well, like that there's kind of been this belief that this is a legal problem, right? And that's why for however God knows how long now, there has been judges approving IDF like IDF I would say yeah, there's been judges approving like basically IDF missions,
Yeah.
right? Or IDF actions and even micromanaging, right? To a large extent, because they're like, we want to be here, so we want to be, shielding anybody from any kind of investigation or shielding anybody from any kind of whatever. And and that definitely does make sense, right? But it's obvious that you're and so they're all Aaron Barak, who is like the head of whatever. He's a very, very important, right, judge in Israel in this kind of Supreme Court. And he has taken so much power, right, into the hands of the juristocracy over the last, over the last decades, and has used this as the reason, right? Oh, we need to have more power, right? Yeah, we need to sit above the government. Yeah, because we need to shield the government. We need to be the ones because we know more because we're the lawyers, right? So we're the judges. And the whole thing has been such an obvious not misconception. And then everybody else is saying, no, this is a political thing. Stop trying to come around this with legal arguments. They invited Karim Khan to come to Israel to investigate the October 7th, whatever, to come and issue a warrant for Mohammed Def. I mean, come on. I mean, how stupid do you have to be? Because Biden was actually the one that allowed Karim Khan to be appointed to the ICC. because it was on the understanding that he would drop the investigation against two American servicemen from Afghanistan that Trump had actually issued that executive order all about. It said no, no prosecuting, no going after, you know, Americans who are not going to be able to get a proper defense, right? Not even as if there is a defense to it, because there's no defense because there's no crime. So it's just a matter. It's basically a political something to protect somebody from. I don't know. I mean, like, why? Yeah, the whole point is that why on earth would the fake state of Palestine want to join the ICC, right? They're criminals. They're literally criminals. They fund terrorism. They pay people for terrorism. They pay people to, it's murder for hire, right? They pay people murder for hire salaries, right? So all of a sudden you want them to come because this has been the tool of the PA, Fatah, whatever you want to call it, for basically since the year 2000. They halted their fake peace negotiations and they went straight to the jihad. The jihad is the kind of they use the legal system as their jihad and they speak in the tongues of the human rights and human blah 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 blah. But I just want to say as well, like that, this has only become possible by the passivity of the Biden administration. It's only
Yeah,
possible.
and we'll talk more about all that on the reality show. Something I just wanted to, since we have just a few more minutes, again, just such like a moral travesty. I mean, well, I don't even want to call it that because to have something as a moral travesty, the individual doing it has to have some moral compass or, knowingly do something wrong. But again, comparing people like Netanyahu, people like Gallant to, again, Deif, that was at the same time, like an actual terrorist, like internationally recognized terrorist. And, originally it was supposed to be also Sinwar and Hania, but, that's a difference because those died, but that one I guess didn't die, or they don't have enough proof that he died. Uh, and yeah, comparing to people like Gaddafi, like Putin, those are the ones who also, well, Gaddafi had because he died before he could go on trial, and again, Putin has it, but again, it's such it's such a joke. It's so meaningless. Like it really doesn't mean anything. Um, Yet like again putting these people as something similar as something same, and they have been called out for it by different nations. So we have like few nations have already spoke out against it, as I mentioned. Even Biden called it out for being a really bad thing. Surprisingly, UK came out saying something like, maybe I can put out the actual quote. We respect the independence of the International Criminal Court, which is primary international institution for investigating and prosecuting the most serious crimes of international concern. But there is no moral equivalence between Israel, a democracy, and Hamas and Lebanese Hezbollah. Well, thank you for actually,
Oh,
for
it's really,
speaking out
yeah,
for once.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Really, really, really amazing. And also, by the way, like, Israel prosecutes soldiers to if they do something wrong. Like there was a soldier a few years ago who was accused and tried and went to jail for killing a terrorist after they had after they had surrendered, right? So, you can, so, and they, whatever, because it's not a legal problem, right? It would be a good thing to say, okay, if this is what you think, then go and try him in an Israeli court, right? With your made up thing of international law. Go and try him. Go ahead, have fun. They would love to put Bibi in jail. They've been trying to do it for years. It's been going, really, it's been going on for a very long time. with all of these bizarre fake crimes that he didn't commit, that they basically accused him of. One was they accused Sarah Netanyahu. There was a whole investigation into her apparently taking lawn furniture from their house in Jerusalem to the house in Caesarea. I mean, all manner of stupid, yeah, whatever. I don't even want to get into all the ridiculous. If there was a real case against Bibi, the Supreme Court, who have been dying to put Bibi in jail for the past God knows however many years, would have been extremely happy to say, yes, let us try him for genocide. Like they would be very happy with that, you know?
Yeah, but unfortunately, the facts are, the reality is coming in the way. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate. We have a few super chats. We have a super chat from Bonnie. Thank you so much. A super chat from Jeff. Thank you so much. And a super chat from PC. Thank you so much. PC says, I just reported a Muslim troll on Facebook for calling for a second Holocaust. Facebook removed his comment. That's great to see, but
No.
also Facebook, I think, has removed Ayn Rand Center UK from Facebook, and we didn't manage to get it back yet. So you win some, you lose some. But someone in the chat, I think, has a good question. It's for you actually. I don't understand the logic, and I'm genuinely interested to know if the U.S. isn't signatory to the Rome Statute. How could their action or inaction have affected the court?
Okay, so first off, is that so there was an executive order that Trump put out, in 2019 that basically said if you go ahead and you go after US service people or allies, we will sanction you. Okay, and then Biden, of course, through executive order, also overturned this executive order, and also they have had a bill that's been passing through, okay, and that, like I said, Chuck Schumer could have, actually could have put through. In addition to this, you pick up the phone and you say, please do not do this. We will, whatever, threaten them, right? That's what you have to be. That's what America does, right? They threaten people with sanctions because this was, they're going to get, I don't know how they feel that they're protected from this. Because Trump's already said when he comes in, he's going to, we're going to sanction the ICC. So they must feel very, and by the way, getting sanctioned literally means you can't have a cell phone, right? If you have your family, you and your family will not be able to have cell phones. You'll be kicked off of the banking system because the United States is basically has the whatever. Just they won't be able to bank. So I don't know how they feel emboldened to get away with this. And Amit Segal argued after being told by people who work in the ICC that they had protection. They had protection from the Biden administration.
Yeah, so even
the last time.
Yeah, because we've heard from
Go
both the Republican majority leader and I assume even Trump, especially, he has been vocal for his support of Israel. So again, this might likely change as soon as Trump gets into office. But the fact is, the warrant is already out there, so that's something to remember. And we will be continuing to talk about it on the reality show. Any last thoughts, Alex?
Nope. Good luck to Bibi and good luck to Gallant because and don't let Aaron Barak go there and represent your case because you're morally sanctioning them.
So we'll see you on the reality show in just about a minute or so. Thank you, Alex, for joining me today. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.